Good afternoon, Taylor Blackwell. Welcome on VH Berries.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I am extremely grateful because you do conjugate your verbs in the present tense as your art is at the cutting edge of the new millennium. How are you doing today?
I'm so good, and that's very kind. Thank you. Thanks for having me on the show. I'm also very grateful to be here.
And my dearest regret lately is not picking up a vinyl copy of your debut album called In Memory of Haroldine before the In the Queue Records closed its doors 3 weeks ago.
Yes, well, I'm going to be selling vinyl on my website and Spotify pretty soon.
Absolutely, and it was my last chance, and I hope that you can feel the affliction in my voice that quickly turns into hope again as I ordered instead the hand-painted tote bag as well as the limited edition cassette of In Memory of Haroldine 2023 remaster.
Yes, hopefully that will be worth a lot of money someday. You never know.
Absolutely, Taylor Blackwell. The worth of those artifacts is going to grow, and I would love to discuss about that project that can also be identified as a chemical hazard because it exposes our emotions to the daylight.
That's a great analogy for it. I've never heard that before. I like it though. Hopefully it's a good chemical reaction and emotional release.
It is a positive reaction, Taylor Blackwell, and I would love to know more about that specific project. Can you tell us a little bit more about In Memory of Haroldine?
Yes, please. Well, I was in a band called The 10th that I started with my dear friend Harley Quinn Smith. And we started it, I think, when we were 18, 19 years old, and put out an album and an EP with that band. And then we were working on a second full-length album, which kind of got derailed by COVID and just lives. And I ended up taking some of the songs I was writing towards a second 10th album and putting them on my first solo album, which is In Memory of Haroldine. And I worked with a friend of mine, Davey Warsop, who's a great producer. He produced the album in Long Beach, California. And there was actually a very sad situation. This woman passed away right outside of the recording studio. Her name was Haroldine. She got involved in this car accident, and it was really spooky because it happened while we were recording the album, and the album already had a lot of themes of loss and heartbreak and life taking you unexpected places. And it just felt sort of fitting to name the album after her in sort of a tribute to someone that I never met but impacted my life.
Absolutely, Taylor Blackwell. If I understood correctly, that title was a direct tribute to that woman that passed away on the street in front of the recording studio. And you released that project on September 1st of 2021, which is also the day of your 23rd birthday.
Yes, that's true. And it's also the birthday of one of my best friends, Finn Argus, who is featured on the album. We sing a song together, the very last song of the album, which we also wrote together. And it was special to have this concert where I played through these new songs for the first time, and Finn was there too performing, and it was kind of a birthday celebration as well as an album release party. It was pretty neat.
It was a unique event, and there is also a very special pieces of art and element that is part of that album, which is a video clip for the title Pennies from 98 in Egypt, that is co-directed by your father,
Yes.
Rick Blackwell, and his extremely sharp vision.
Yes, I traveled to Egypt for my 25th birthday. And Egypt was always the place that I wanted to travel to more than anywhere else. It was always number one on my bucket list. And I got to go for my 25th birthday, and my dad and I thought, wouldn't it be fun to film a music video while we're here at some of these incredible monuments and historic sites? So that's what we did. So he was filming everything, and I edited it together, and I think it came out kind of fun.
It definitely came out as a very fun result, Taylor Blackwell. And Rick is a real magnet that is directly coming from both the planet Jupiter and Jupiter, Florida. And I believe that the 142 million people that resides in the Eastern time zone are doing so to live at the same pace as Rick Blackwell.
Well, he'll love to hear that. I like to think so too. I mean, if people were smart, that would be the reason. My dad's a really amazing person.
Not only he's going to like that sentence, but he's going to probably sample it in his upcoming mixtape.
You never know. Crazier things have happened.
Absolutely, Taylor Blackwell. And during that trip in Egypt, in which you recorded that video clip, there is also another very crucial person that helped you to visit the city, and her name is Sophia.
Wow, I can't believe you're bringing that up. Yes, she was our tour guide, and she was so wonderful, and I still keep in touch with her through WhatsApp. We still check in on each other. I send her photos of my life and tell her what I'm up to, and she does the same. So I do hope to see her again in person someday, go back to Egypt and visit her.
Absolutely, Taylor Blackwell. On a side of your brains, you're already planning another trip in the future. And I would also love to discuss about the final track of the album, which is a featuring with Finn Argus on a song called First Time I Died. Can you tell us a little bit more about the final of that album?
Yeah, I originally wrote the lyrics, and I had a chord progression, but it was pretty simple. And so Finn came in and kind of tweaked the chord progression and tweaked the lyrics a little bit. There's actually also, funny enough, since we're on the topic of Egypt, there is a line in the song about ancient Egyptians and how they had this theory that everyone dies more than once. You die the first time when you die, and then the second time is the last time someone ever says your name. And part of my reason for wanting to go to Egypt was because I find the Egyptian mythology and the history to be so fascinating, and it sometimes weaves its way into my songwriting or my art in general. And at the time, I think I was just very, generally speaking, contemplative about life and death and being in the moment, being present. And those were things that Finn, my best friend, was also thinking about quite a lot. And it was really special to get to come together and work on this song, because we had always sort of made music together in a very casual way, just playing instruments and jamming out together, but to actually record something was really sweet.
Absolutely, Taylor Blackwell, jamming out together and also singing those words, which are all we have now is today.
Yeah, it's true, right? It's really all we have. Gotta enjoy the present moment. What else do you have? Nothing.
We have nothing, Taylor Blackwell, outside of the present moment. And in that present time, I can feel that you have the maturity and experience, which is the result of an experience that you just mentioned, being in a band that is called the 10th Band, and that we could describe as a bubblegum punk band based in Los Angeles.
Yes. Yeah, that was such a fun experience for me, especially when I entered that band. I was kind of more of a, I don't want to say shy, but a little bit more of an introverted person. And Harley, my bandmate, she's always been kind of naturally has a little bit more of that punk rock rebellious spirit. And through writing songs with her and performing with her, it brought that out of me, which was cool to evolve as a person and as a musician.
Absolutely, Taylor Blackwell. And what would you say were the biggest lessons as a musician and as a human that you learned by making those two albums called Dunes and Boys We Don't Know?
I think the biggest lessons, there were so many, but to maybe wrap it up would be to speak my truth and allow my own voice to shine through. And the power of punk music is the ability to scream and yell and to allow yourself to get angry. I feel like prior to that, some of that introversion also came from a perfectionist place and wanting to be kind of sweet and mild-mannered all the time. And it gave me this outlet to express anger and to stomp my feet and to scream into a microphone. So that was really liberating for me. And I think everyone should do that if they have the opportunity to.
It was a very liberating initiative, Taylor Blackwell, and in definitive, you are the musical mushroom, as opposed to me, the silent cactus.
We're a good duo.
We could be a good duo, and I learned that the growing cycle for mushrooms is around 6 weeks, which gives them enough time to learn English as a second language, an expression forming the ESL acronym that I could also interpret as Earth Sign Love.
Yes, I have a copy right here. It's my comic.
Absolutely, Taylor Blackwell. You have a copy right next to you, and I would love to discuss about that creative independent platform in which you are, for example, producing a comic about Virgo and Taurus, or working with Noel Cope to make some customized mugs.
Yes, yeah. So visual art has always been really important to me, and I make this little comic called Earth Sign Love, and this is volume 5 actually, and I typically just hand them out to people in the street, or if I meet someone at a party, I'll give it to them. And so it's really just like a fun way to connect with people and to share my art. But I also sell oracle cards that I designed and illustrated, and mugs on Etsy, and all sorts of prints and other kind of random art things.
Furthermore, Taylor Blackwell, I am very curious about how you first encountered and met Noel Cope, a poet born in Telluride, a former Victorian mining town in Colorado's Rocky Mountains.
Yeah, we originally met in an acting class in Los Angeles when I was a teenager. So many years ago.
It was many years ago, Taylor Blackwell, and another project that you launched is the Infinite Possibilities Oracle Deck for, I quote, young people and the young at heart. What is your personal meaning of that initiative and of that expression?
I really love tarot cards and oracle cards as well, which are basically tarot cards, but just less traditional. And I guess probably during COVID, I made my little sister just a very informal oracle deck. I made her 8 cards and I illustrated them because I wanted to share my love of the tarot with her. And she really enjoyed it. Her friends seemed to really like it. So I ended up making a whole deck of these cards. And the young people and the young at heart, for me, I went into this wanting to make a deck geared towards young people, but I also think that we could all benefit from connecting with our own inner child and our inner playfulness. And that's why I taglined the cards for the young people and young at heart, because it really is geared towards kids, but also I found that a lot of adults seem to enjoy it too.
Absolutely, Taylor Blackwell. A lot of people, adults, young and old, are enjoying that specific project because I saw a lot of positive reviews. And I also believe that this Infinite Possibilities Oracle deck helped you to shape the character of Queen in the upcoming television series called Your Friends and Neighbors that will come out in April of 2025.
Yes, I think all art feels into each other. My visual art helps with my acting and my music, and yeah, so probably in a way it did, but that was an exciting project to get to be a part of. I'm going to be in 2 episodes of it, so I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Absolutely, Taylor Blackwell. You will be in 2 episodes, and more specifically, the number 6 and 9. And I would love to know more about Queen. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
I really can't. Not yet. It's a secret. You'll just have to wait and see the show. But it was fun. It filmed here in New York. I'm in New York right now. And it's a John Hamm show. So it was really fun to get to work with him.
You may not be able to reveal the details of Queen, but another project that you're directing, writing, and playing in will be Our Way to Go. And this one is called It Happened. The Judy Tenuta story. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yes, this I can tell you about. It's less of a secret. Well, I wrote this movie, like you said, I wrote, directed, and played this woman named Judy Tenuta, who was a real woman. She was a comedian, and she played accordion, which I play accordion as well. And I was just really a fan of hers. She was a really brilliant comedian and writer, and just a very interesting personality. And I wanted to kind of make this film that was sort of paying tribute to her and telling her story. And I worked closely with her partner and also her foundation, and got to use her real costumes, and got to play her actual accordion for the film. And it's just a little movie about Judy that I'm in, Alan Tudyk is in, and some really amazing actors are in the film. So we're submitting it to film festivals right now, and we just put out a trailer, but I'm excited to, down the line, be able to share the whole thing after we've done some film festivals.
Moreover, Taylor Blackwell, as you just mentioned, you recently shared a trailer in which we can hear your character with a very different voice from yours. Can you tell us and explain that specific segment?
Yeah, so because I'm playing this real person, Judy Tenuta, she spoke in a very unique way, which this was the voice she did on stage. I never met her. She passed away a couple years ago. So I don't think my microphone fell. There it goes. I don't think she actually spoke in such a crazy way in real life, but I think her on-stage voice was an exaggeration of kind of her real life, who she was in real life. But her voice would get really raspy and kind of, I don't even know how to describe it, just very low. And then she'd also have this high-pitched voice that she would do, and she'd kind of bounce between the two voices. And that was probably one of the more challenging things about doing this movie, is trying to get her voice right, because her fans really love her voice. And I wanted to make sure that I was getting pretty close to how she did it.
One of your goal through that project was to get the voice right, and you got it perfectly. And I would love to know more about the creative process with those specific director hats and producer hats, because that project called It Happened, the Judy Tenuta story, is made by the Has Been Productions.
Yes. Yeah, so Has Been Productions is my friend Brent Mata's production company. And he's a cinematographer. He filmed a music video that the 10th did for I'll Go When It's My Time. That's the name of the song. So that's how I originally met Brent. And we wanted to find something else to work on together, which is how this project initially came about, because we were both fans of Judy Tenuta and wanted to make a story about her life. And I selfishly just thought it would be a really fun challenge for me as an actor and a cool character to play. So that was sort of some of the initial impetus around it. And then there was just a lot of preparation, because we only filmed the movie in 2 days, which I'm pretty proud that we were able to get all of that done in 2 days. We crammed a lot into 2 days of filming, and from there just a lot of editing and coloring and sound and music. My friend Claire McEwen did the music, and it's wonderful music that we're going to probably release sometime soon too. So I'm just excited for people to get to see it.
If I understood correctly, it took a total of 2 days to wrap that project. And on one hand, you're currently working on It Happened, the Judy Tenuta story. But on the other hand, you are also currently in the middle of playing This Is Happening, the Taylor Blackwell story.
All we have now is today. Yes, that is true. The ever unfolding, it's happening, the Taylor Blackwell story.
You are writing your own story and history at the moment, and I would love to enter the early stages of your journey, because it started at the Performing Arts Middle School, in which you were taking those acting classes, but also the Visual Arts one and the tap dancing one.
Yeah, it was a really amazing school. I went to Bach Middle School of the Arts in West Palm Beach, Florida, which is near where I grew up in Jupiter, Florida. And I had a major, which was theater. And I got to, for my electives, also have these great other art classes, and also meet a lot of young artistic kids, which really developed my love for all kinds of arts even further. I already went into the school loving music, loving drawing and painting, loving theater and acting, but being around a lot of like-minded young creative people just made those interests explode even further.
It made those interests explode even further. And I am sure that if one day we are actually making the Taylor Blackwell story, you will be able to call Rick and ask him for all the tap dancing footage from the final year show.
Yes, he definitely has it. He has really, my dad is a videographer and is a man of many talents, but really was always filming me and my siblings in our many performances and family road trips and just kind of everything. He always has had a camera that around throughout our lives, so there will be footage.
There will be footage, and Rick Blackwell doesn't need any introduction. And what were the biggest lessons that he taught you during those past years?
Oh, goodness. I don't know. I really look up to my dad so much. I think, honestly, he's led such a good example of someone who is self-motivated and a self-starter and is able to create a life for himself, pursuing lots of different creative activities. And that's something that's always been interesting to me is I don't want to just be an actor. I want to be able to direct and write and do visual art and music and all the other things I do. And so seeing an example of that with my dad and how he was a news anchor and an editor and a cameraman and everything else definitely has inspired me.
In conclusion, I am looking forward to witness those upcoming projects as well as to receive the hand-painted tote bag and limited edition cassettes of In Memory of Haroldine 2023 editions that I placed as an order last Saturday at midnight on your Bandcamp pages. Thank you very much, Taylor Blackwell.
Thank you so much. This was so fun, and I appreciate your very thoughtful questions. Thanks for having me.